My name is Douglas duCharme, and I'm the new minister at the historic and I would say forward-looking Bloor Street United Church in downtown Toronto, where we're in the midst of a truly remarkable transformation, the work and vision of a great many people over many years. And I'm delighted to be here. I guess as long as I can remember, I have been intrigued by what brings change in life, whether in individual lives or groups or organizations, the turning points, the transformations in people's lives, the political change that we sometimes try to predict by polls, but that still surprises us, social and cultural change that intrigues us and influences how we live. So ministry for me has been about the Spirit dancing with us into a fullness of life, into newness of life. And as an interim minister, my role is in helping churches, faith communities find their way in new and often surprising ways into what God is doing into the future out ahead of us. Is both a reality in life, as we all know, and it's something that we try to avoid as humans. We prefer stability, the status quo, and organizations like churches are the same. Our comfort zone is in the familiar, and yet we are followers of Jesus, who was always pushing people outside their comfort zones just a little bit to be more fully human in ways that did not come naturally to them, but needed some focus, some work, some inspiration. So interim ministry brings some tools, some skills, some experience to bear around how churches as human organizations experience change, have good outcomes in their efforts to work on change, so that they feel like this is not just going around in circles, but we're getting somewhere, and that the change is actually transformative. It's making us more fully who we are. Well, I feel a bit like a kid in a candy store, frankly. The people, the conversations I'm having, the directions that I'm seeing that are shaping Bloor Street's emerging directions in mission and ministry are all remarkably faithful and compelling to be hearing about and talking with people about. The staff team is committed and incredibly capable. And the transition team has jumped in with both feet. And I feel like my going on 40 years of ministry has really, in many ways, led up and prepared me for this opportunity to walk with Bloor Street. It's complex. We're worshiping with St. Matthew's. The building is under construction. Our office space is at Avenue Road and Davenport, Avendav in Toronto, and the congregation is dispersed, but the connections are there, and I think we're now turning towards imagining what going back in a way, returning, but also kind of for the first time, because the space will be so new and looks so amazing, that as we turn our attention towards that return part of this cycle of redevelopment, um, the opportunities are so incredibly exciting, and the potential for the Bloor Street congregation is there. So I've been talking to people mostly, and getting to know people, committees, groups that gather, and really listening to the stories and getting to know the not just the details, but really the fabric, the texture of Bloor Street, and its history and its life for so many years, 137 years. I bring a long involvement in partnerships of various kinds, community partnerships, ecumenical partnerships, and working internationally. So I'm excited about the diversity and the openness and inclusion that Bloor Street brings to ministry. I think as we delve back into the community around Bloor and Huron, it's going to be really exciting to see how things have changed. COVID brought a lot of change, and downtown Toronto is transformed from when I first moved here in the late 70s, early 80s. And it's remarkable to imagine now reconnecting with that neighborhood and immersing ourselves in that life and partnerships. I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to about this position, and it'll tell you something about what I look forward to. Because you see, in interim ministry, I'm invited into the life and the vision of a congregation, and I'm there for their joyful events and celebrations, and I'm there for the grief and the loss, and sharing that among people. And although I always think I will protect myself, I end up falling in love and knowing that I'm going to have to leave at the end of 2 or 3 years, and it hurts. But I do it because I can't help myself. And I think it's that connection and the trust that grows between someone in my position, other staff members, the leadership team, and the congregation as a whole. We sense that we are a part of something together. And I am there along with you. And that's what I'm least looking forward to is that falling in love part and knowing I have to leave once we have done what we came to do together. So it's tough, but that also tells you something about what I deeply appreciate about the work that I have been able to do. Well, it's a modest list, I guess, but it would include exploring Toronto's amazing array of astonishing range of restaurants, watching offbeat movies. We have a repertory cinema near us, the Fox, in the beach where we live. I discovered late in life, in some ways, mystery novels, and so I always have a mystery novel underway, I think, and I listen to a wide array of music of all kinds, and we have a subscription to the Toronto Symphony. So it's a good and diverse life, and we have a 6-year-old granddaughter, and she provides lots of fun and distraction too. Well, as people have been discovering, my office door has a sign on it that says I have an open door policy. Just knock and come by, and if I can, I will usually stop what I'm doing for a few minutes and talk. And those chats have already been really rich and fertile. I've learned a lot from people dropping by. So there's also email, Douglas@bloorstreetunited.org. And my calendar is open to Wendy and to Susan. Wendy, our operations manager, and Susan, our administrator, have access to my calendar, so they know if I'm not here, they know where I am and when I might be back. So they know my availability, and I want to be very much available to people. I would just say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to become a part of this journey together towards being the church anew. I'm very excited, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity in ministry. It's a gift, and I will bring everything I can to fulfilling the potential and the calling, the vocation of this community of faith.